Welcome to the Circus of Wayward Wonders. Welcome to Roll for Combat, Three-Ring Adventure.
Hey everyone, welcome to Roll for Combat, Three-Ring Adventure. I'm your GM and host, Stephen Glicker, and in this week's episode, the PCs have an epiphany. They realize, are they the bad guys? They might be. Let's find out this week. So this intro is going to be a little different than other intros because I'm supposed to be halfway around the world right now, and I'm recording this intro way ahead of when I normally do the recordings of this show. What I normally do is I usually listen to the show and then record my intro. That way it's fresh in my head. I am not doing that because I'm not supposed to be around, so I'm recording this weeks ahead of time. I don't even know what the shows are going to be about because, well, I keep telling you, I'm recording this ahead of time. So what does that mean? What are we going to do here? Well, I'm going to do a special two-part episode where I'm going to talk about the show in general, how we record it, how we put it together, basically behind the scenes. I thought people would be interested in that. A lot of people ask me about how we make the show. So I'm going to get into it. I'll talk a little bit about just general policy of, like role-playing and how we keep the team together. I'll talk about how I record the show in some detail and, just go into that. So with that, let's get into the first part, and that is, how the heck do we do this? The very first thing that's very important is that we have to get together on a regularly scheduled basis. The number one reason that these types of adventures, whether it be Pathfinder or Starfinder or 5e or any group, falls apart is scheduling. Number one, everybody, whether you're an adult or a kid, is scheduling. So with that, I will tell you right now that I am a total beast when it comes to scheduling. I am super, super tough when it comes to scheduling. I try to record every single week. As you probably all know, I do Three-Ring Adventure on Sunday nights, and we do Agents of Edgewatch on Monday nights. We try to record every week. And the weeks we don't record, I'm actually pretty tough on everyone if they can't make it. Now, I'm usually okay missing a show or two, because we're usually able to get two podcast episodes from each recording. A minimum, obviously, of one, but usually two. Which means is as long as we're recording, let's say, once a week, every other week, we'll have enough shows. Obviously, like if we record once a week for a month, that's 8 episodes right there. Well, minimum of 4. So we'll say 6. So as long as we're recording 2/3 of the year, I'll have enough shows to use for the podcast. Now, sometimes we've taken off. Once, for Dead Sons, I think we took off for 3 months because of issues with people. So, you can take off time, and I like to put a lot of episodes in the can. I'm usually weeks, if not months ahead of time. For example, with Agents of Edgewatch right now, we're towards the end of Book 3, even though we just started Book 3 of the podcast. We are months and months ahead of schedule. In fact, the episodes you're hearing now, I believe we recorded in, I'm actually just looking at my notes, we recorded those way back in, not that far away, okay, September. So a little bit less than 3 months ago is the ones that you're listening to now. But it's different for each one because in Three-Ring Adventure, we're actually only a few weeks ahead of schedule. In fact, the ones you're listening to now, we recorded in mid-October. So we're just about a month and a half ahead of schedule for Three-Ring Adventure. And this will fluctuate. As long as we're a little bit ahead, we can take off a couple weeks. We can take off time for the holidays, if there's family emergencies and things like that. What that means is that if you're going to be doing this with your group, I strongly suggest that you come up with a single day a week and stick to that schedule. The other thing is that I go out of my way to not do things on Sunday nights or Monday nights, to the point that my friends and family know that I'm recording a show. They know that I'm not going to be around for those nights. They know not to try to do things with me those nights because I cannot be around because I am recording Roll for Combat. That is how important it is. And I try to tell everyone else, try. Obviously, they have lives, and it's like, wow, that sounds really strict of you, Steve. Well, if you're going to be in a show and you're going to try to commit yourself to having fun, you really should schedule your fun. I know it sounds silly. It's like, schedule your fun? I used to have friends in college who did this. They scheduled like every minute of their lives, and they used to schedule having fun. And I thought they were totally silly for that. Well, I see the method of their madness. I see the error of my ways. And you know what? Scheduling fun is a very good idea. And in this case, I'm scheduling my fun with my friends. And it works out great. Everyone has something they can look forward to. I can spend time preparing for the show, especially as the GM. I can make sure everything's ready, and I can rest and relax and get right to it. As for the recording itself, there's a million ways to do these recordings, especially now. When I first started doing this 4.5 years ago, there was one way. That's it. There was nothing else out there. We use a program called Craig, and we record on Discord. The reason I use Craig is it allows me to record every single person in a separate channel. That is super duper important. You want to have everyone in separate channels, so if someone sneezes, or their doorbell rings, or their kids are screaming, or the dogs are barking, I can take them out. In the old days, almost every single episode I know people were using Skype. Remember Skype? Remember how it used to take over the world? Man, things have changed. Anyhow, the problem with Skype, even though it sounded really good, is that everyone was recorded in one channel, which means if someone sneezed, you couldn't take it out. Everyone was smack dab in a single channel. What I record is everyone in separate channels. So Chris and Jason and Vanessa and Lauren are in their own channels. I can edit them, I can change their levels, I can do whatever needs to be done, and it doesn't affect anyone else. Right now, there's a million programs out there that do this, so there's lots of options. If you're going to be starting a podcast, it's really easy right now. But back in the day, we were using Craig. I still use Craig today. I also use a program called Enucast, which allows me to record from people's desktops directly. That was another way people used to do it back in the day, is that they would make everyone record using Audacity. They would clap to sync up, and then they would send their Audacity recordings to a single person who would then sync them up. The problem with that method is that if people messed up their Audacity recordings, which I myself have done, then they sound terrible because not everyone knows how to use Audacity on their own computers. So this is really the best way to do it. I also have yet another backup, believe it or not. I have 3 backups. I also use OBS, which records everyone and everything that's heard through my computer. And I have unfortunately more than once had to use the backup of my backup of my backup because things just go wrong. Every so often, because we're using a recording tool through Chrome, Chrome had a bug in it just this summer where it was adding clicks to everyone's soundtracks. That sucked, let me tell you. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort to remove those clicks. So when you hear the audio and you think, oh, it doesn't sound quite as good as some of the other shows, keep in mind we're all recording remotely. Everyone has different setups. Everyone has different internet speeds, and we're doing our absolute best. In fact, if you're doing a show and you also are doing remotely, I'd love to hear how you do it, because I do what I know, and this is what I know. And I find it works pretty well for us, but I'd be curious, especially since the technology has changed. When I set this up, there was only one game in town. Now there's so many different ways to do recordings. I'd love to hear how other people do it. And almost everyone does it remotely. Back in the day when I first started 4.5 years ago, every single actual play that I heard was people recording in the same room using professional mics and setups. So they all sounded great. No one was doing it remotely. It was very rare. Now the tables have flipped. Almost everyone does it remotely. And anyone who does a really good job, I'd love to hear how you do it. After everything's recorded, I bring it down onto my computer. I organize it into a filing system. I basically label the show, put down the date, and put it onto my Dropbox account. That way, if something happens to my computer, I will have the show at all times. Also, it allows me to edit anywhere in the world. I usually try to edit on my desktop computer, not on a laptop, because audio editing requires a huge amount of horsepower. So I try to do that on my desktop, but this way, by having it on a cloud system, first, if something happens to my computer, I don't lose the recording, which has happened in the past. Believe me, it sucks. The other thing is I can then edit it anywhere in the world because it's on the cloud. But that's where I'm going to leave off right now. Part 2 is I'm going to talk about how I actually edit the recording and put it up for everyone to listen to. Hopefully you found this sort of interesting. If you have any questions or comments, do go to the Discord channel. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about how the show is made, give you a little bit behind the scenes tour. And with that, let's get to this week's show notes. Show notes this week, very simple. I'm recording this early, so let's just go evergreen, shall we? Do check out RPG Superstar, where public voting is going on right now. That's right, you too can vote for your favorite monster. Check out RPG Superstar, check out all the great monsters, find out ones that you like, find the ones you don't like, put down your comments, make a vote, do it today. Battles of Bestiary, check it out. Battles of Bestiary for Pathfinder 2nd Edition is out now. The really cool monster part system where you too can start killing monsters and making magic weapons and items from those monsters. You can order it now. Go to battlezoo.com, check it out. You can also download and start using Foundry VTT for Battlezoo and Pathfinder 2nd Edition. The 5e edition should be out very soon. The book is done. We're just doing some proofreading and doing some testing. But do check that out and order that because that's going to come out very soon. And for those who use Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, those are being worked on as well. Hopefully by January, both of those will be out. Again, we started a little late. Normally the way other people do it and why they're able to come out with these so quickly, they finish these books months before the VTTs are done. So they usually finish the book about 3 to 4 months before it's actually published. So they give it to their authors who then make the VTTs, and then those all come out at the same time. I'm doing it, well, as they're being done. So as soon as the book is done, I'm giving it to the VTT authors, and they usually need 2 to 3 months to then convert the book into Roll20 or Foundry or Fantasy Grounds. So I'm doing it a little slower, but again, this is my first time. This is a Kickstarter, so we're just, going as quickly as possible. But for the next Kickstarter, I'm going to try to preload it and do a little bit more like how Paizo and WotC does it, where everything is pretty much ready to go or close to ready to go, and then you'll get the items sort of simultaneously. That's what we're going to try to do in the future. Also, make sure you check out the Discord channel. Just go to discord.rollforcombat.com where you could talk all about Battles of Bestiary, you can talk all about RPG Superstar, you can play games, you can chat about the episodes, you can chat with me, you can chat with everyone in the Roll for Combat crew. Go there, have fun, relax. It's a good time. Check out rollforcombat.com. You can check out Jason McDonald's Talking Combat column where he goes through every single episode ever made and writes about each one in detail. So if you want to catch up on some of the old shows, you could just read his Talking Combat. You don't even have to listen to them if you don't want. That's right. It's a cheat system. And don't forget, check out the Patreon. That's right. Just go to patreon.rollforcombat.com and you too can contribute, help out the show, and listen to the shows early. And you can even listen to us and talk to us while we're recording the shows. That's right. It's a lot of fun. People have a good time making fun of us while we're recording the shows. Anyhow, with that, let's get to this week's exciting episode. Last we left off, you finished the Wellspring Tower, and you made it spring that well. You made it do what it's supposed to do, and that is bring water and life to the area. Now, it'll probably take a little while because them Zolgaths were draining that Aeon orb like nobody's business. But Acheron said, hey, I know how to fix this. Let me just flip this switch here and that switch there and kick this thing over there and bing, bam, boom. And what do you know? All done. And now you have the ability to breathe underwater and use water magic. Whether Hap likes it or not, Hap can just pretend that it doesn't exist. They can just never use it, ever.
I'm like a cat. I don't like the water. I don't want to get wet.
Lauren Sake is playing Hap, a human fire elementalist sorcerer.
Yeah, I know, but it's a gift from the gods.
You gotta bathe sometime.
Vanessa Hoskins is playing Alhara Varys, a half-elf gymnast swashbuckler.
It's a gift from a god, not maybe even the god. And if you want to forsake it, you can. But I promise you, you will never get it again. So whenever you wish to forsake your gift from Aridin's ghost, you let me know, and I will remove that from your sheet forever. In the meantime, everyone else seems to enjoy their newfound powers. I think I saw Alhara putting her head in a trough in town for like 5 minutes just to see if she could.
I won a bet, actually.
Oh, there you go. See, that's the real use of Aridin's power. Winning bar bets.
Hey, it's all about
go.
community and involving people, and so sure, why not?
Rob Pontius is playing Otteron, a human witch of curses.
Wasn't one of the guises of Aridin like a trickster or a con artist? I'm sure he'd think it was fine.
Actually,
Well,
it's
if you talk to the
true.
people in Arcadia, I'm sure they'd agree he was a con artist.
Ooh.
Or the Zolgaths.
Or the Zolgaths.
Well, I think for them, he was just a thief.
Yeah, that was straight up thievery. It's like,
Yeah.
nice Aeon orbs you have there. Yoink.
I see you got 6 Aeon orbs. You won't need 5 of them, will you? Yoink, yoink,
Yeah.
yoink, yoink, yoink.
Didn't your empire fall a long time ago, and that's why you live in these dark lands? Okay, bye.
I mean, in all fairness, that was a long time ago, and they seem to be doing fine. Fine enough that they can lead an invasion. They
Yeah.
didn't need
Believe it or not, if you remember, and you guys kind of covered over this, before Aridin borrowed the orbs,
Borrowed.
they had an amazingly advanced, peaceful, godlike, good culture. And they were incredibly advanced. So advanced that Aridin's like, wow, I could use these things. Look at how well they're doing down here. You won't miss them, will you? And then a couple thousand years later, Zolgath Central and Zegevazeb. Anyhow, you keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right side of history, right?
1,000 years later, they have now chosen this lifestyle, right? Like, it's 1,000 years. They could come to the surface, they could barter with the surface. No. They choose to stay down there. It's 1,000 years.
Are you sure they chose it? They weren't forced to?
Rob Termarco is playing Darius Varys, a half-elf monk of the mountain style.
Well, we should ask them, because if they were forced to stay down there, then that's some BS.
Yeah.
All I know is, I don't know if you're really the good guys. I mean, you think you're the good guys, and everyone up here thinks they're the good guys. But everyone's the good guy in their own story.
Are we the baddies?
No.
Anyhow, you go back to town, win some bar bets, go to sleep, wake up, and everybody's level 10. Plus, you had thousands and thousands of gold pieces because that diamond was worth like $2,000. And you can
Whoa.
either put that diamond away for a rainy day when you need to raise someone from the dead.
What?
That never happens in this party.
Nope. At least not by you guys. That's only
We
by-
haven't needed to raise it because it's been done.
It's been done by gods.
That sounds good. Let's just do that again next time.
Darius, by the way,
Everybody.
your
Yeah?
skin is starting to get a little clammy. It's starting to look almost like, I don't
Uh-oh.
know. You're starting to look a little insecty.
Am I?
What a nice exoskeleton you have there.
Yes.
Do I look insect-like now?
Not yet. Not yet. You're not Jeff Goldblum fly yet.
Yeah.
But you're getting there.
Jeez.
For real?
Uh-oh.
Nah, not really. But
Okay,
that
good.
would be funny.
That would be terrifying.
That would
is
be
what it would
terrible.
be.
I can hear the fear in Rob's voice. He's like, wait, am I?
What?
No.
You can't hear my fear, but it was immense. 'Cause that sounds awful.
It sounds awfully... Well, think of this way.
Serious.
You can get really high in the Red Manta Society because they look at you like you're like the chosen one. Maybe you can...
Darius.
You literally were the
shingles?
chosen one.
It looks
Sorry,
like
what?
you're growing an exoskeleton. Do you have shingles?
I'm just gonna say, 1E did have a were mantis, so can it really be that far behind for 2E?
Oh, jeez.
Anyhow, we got a lot of things to go over. First, level 10. Level 10's a big level. So big, in fact, you guys tell me. Go in whatever order you wish. Tell me what fun things you bought, did, look for. Also, I also know that people want to retrain, and you want to get, like, new Secrets of Magic stuff, and you want to get new Grand Bazaar stuff, and new stuff from books that are coming out from 3 years from now. So, I believe the problem is, you're in Mad and Cleve, which is like a level 2 or 3 settlement. And then Carrick, I believe, is a level 6 settlement. So either you're going to have to special order, settlement 6. So you either have to special order it like they used to do. You have to find the Sears Roebuck Galarian catalog, find what high-level items you want, order them, and then wait 2 weeks, and they will show up. Just like they did in the olden days. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first if y'all don't mind.
Go for it.
So level 10 is a kind of a big deal. The stat increases are nice. My dexterity now has a +5 bonus, except my armor still caps it at +4, so that's kind of a bummer. But it still does make a lot of my skills and finesse attacks better, which is pretty cool. I picked up a new skill feat. I got Kip Up. I have to be a master in acrobatics, but I can stand up as a free action that doesn't trigger reactions. So if I ever get knocked on my ass, whether from critically failing a trip attack or something like that, I can just bounce right back up and it's no big deal. I also picked up, for my swashbuckler feat, I also got Reflexive Riposte. What it basically does is gives me an additional reaction each turn that can only be used for Opportune Riposte. So now, theoretically, a baddie can run up to me through my threatened area, and I can attack of opportunity them, and then they can attack me, and if they crit fail, I can still riposte on them. I can theoretically get 2 reactions around, which is pretty cool. And then the last thing I got with my fun, free dedication, free archetype, is I picked up something from Staff Acrobat that I have had my eye on since level 1, and that is Whirlwind Stance. So it is a 1 action to get into the stance. I have to have my staff out, and it gives me a +2 circumstance bonus to armor class as long as I remain in the stance. Unlike Mountain Stance, I don't have to be on the ground. I can jump around and flip all over the place. But basically, it's like whirling your staff back in front of you over and over like she does when she parries. But now she just does it so naturally. It's super fast and super effective.
Okie dokie. Cool. And do you have a 20 in anything now?
20 what?
In any of your ability scores?
Yeah, I got a 20 in dexterity.
See, that's an magic number, because unlike old editions of Pathfinder where you can be like, you got a 20? Please, I had that at level 0. At level 10, I have like a 32 in my dex. Now it's like, nope, there's no way to go above 20 until you're level 10. At least no way that I know of.
Yeah, it's maxed out. One choice I did make, though. So my strength was 18 going into level 10. I did not choose to raise it to 19 at this time because it wouldn't give me a bonus. Instead, I bumped Wisdom and Charisma and Constitution because that's important. But I felt like Alhara's really learned a lot of things, and she's being a bit more cautious. She's come near death a bunch of times. I think she's going to focus on, like, her wisdom is definitely increasing, and she's making better decisions. And she's also had to sort of step it up as a leader, so I went ahead and put a point into Charisma as well.
Why don't we do Darius next, the other half of the duo?
All right. Well, Darius did go for the +1 to strength, so he's got a 19, future 20 in the making. And, Constitution 18, so now he's got, a school bus full of hit points, 158. That ought to, work for at least 1 critical before he goes down. Then, for his skill feat, I took Advanced First Aid, which means instead of stabilizing or stopping bleeding, I can reduce an ally's frightened or sticking condition by 2. Or remove those conditions entirely on a critical success, which is kind of cool. Then, his monkly feat, I took 1-inch punch. I can do a 2 or 3 action punch that increases the number of dice with each action I take up to some ridiculous, I could do, essentially putting all the force of all my attacks in one hit, which is going to be great. And
yeah, the 1-inch punch actually is very. That's actually probably one of my absolute favorites.
It's a very good one.
It's very good. It's a little bit all or nothing, but oh boy, is it all or nothing?
Well, and it's so thematic.
Gargantuan damage.
What's real cool, if I do the 1-inch punch 2 action and then a true strike, right, as one of my, granted archetype spells, that would be real helpful. And then I got, for my archetype feat, there's a cleric feat called Rapid Response. As a reaction, if someone needs assistance, drops to 0 hit points. As a triggering action, I stride toward them with a plus 10-foot circumstance bonus to my speed, which even in mountain stance is 40 feet. So that would be a 50-foot move toward whoever just dropped to 0.
Wow.
Which
so
is real
if people die, then it's Darius's fault. Got it.
Correct.
We just have to scream medic really loud.
No longer Atron's fault. Now it's Darius's fault. Okie dokie.
Well, look, once I have my turn, we'll talk about if people dying are my fault.
Well, it's someone's fault. It's not my fault.
It's yours, Steven.
Not my fault. Let's see how your hand wraps of shocking punchiness does there. Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that good. Wait, the 1-inch... Oh, because I give you the extra damage. Yeah, look at that. Oof. You would have had the 3-action 1-inch punch is an extra 48. So you could do 68 points of damage.
Holy crap.
Well, that's with the 3-action punch. But even the 2-action punch is 48.
You're in a good flanking position. I could see going for that 3-action. Especially if you have haste up to give you that stride action for free.
Yeah, I would definitely do that first, and then... just to, I have a lot of hit points before I have to get real creative with things.
Right.
Okie dokie. Who's next? Not everyone speak up. There's only 2 people. 2 people!
I need to go last.
Alright, well then that makes Hap up.
Very
that
well.
makes it easy. If you have to go last, then Hap, you're next.
Level 10 is not only a big level, it's also the pinnacle level. This is the level where everything finally comes together. I'm no longer playing catch-up with Hap's build. It now works as intended. Because every choice absolutely changes the game. The first choice I got to take was my free archetype is Inspirational Performance from Bard. So now I can use 1 action for Inspire Courage. Give everybody +1 to hit, and +1 to damage, and +1 to saves against fear. This is going to make Riley's math a lot more competitive and a lot more attractive when he's in combat. On top of that, because of Secrets of Magic now, I have Protect Companion, so Riley can actually stay in combat and he can take a lot more damage. So it's not going to be just, oh no, is he going to die because he's up there? Nah, he'll be fine, my man. He'll be just fine. On top of that, Signature Spell Expansion. My spell list has been a struggle. I get that sorcerers have fewer spells, but man, it's a lot fewer, and you really feel it when you're needing to get some versatility in there. So Signature Spell Expansion is going to let me take 2 other spells as signature spells. For me, that was Resist Energy, because that has a few other levels, and it helps everybody. And Scorching Ray, which is also a new Secrets of Magic skill, because that just feels like it should be one of Hap's signatures, just throwing fire around. And then the last one is I took a big hit when we found out that Hap was an Ifrit, because I lost the human skilled thing, which meant my diplomacy took a hit. And at this level, I was able to take Impressive Performance, so that I can use my performance skill to do diplomacy. And since my performance is +21, I think that's going to be pretty good.
That's really cool.
Okay.
Pretty awesome. And what
So
about
you got a lot of stuff.
shopping?
Yeah, I do have
Shopping.
to do some shopping.
Wait, we're going to go shopping before we talk about Atron? Atron doesn't want to tell anyone?
Well, I can, but what I end up crafting depends on how much money Hap gives me.
Oh, how much money do you want?
How about 33 gold?
Okay, boom, done.
Sweet.
All right. Because when you said the list of options, I didn't get the chance, but I wanted to just say all of the above. So do you want more than 33?
No, we can go from there.
Okay.
After I go, you tell me.
All right, cool. Well, speaking of shopping, I'm gonna have to place an order in my Absalom Roebuck catalog. I really want to get the Crown of the Fire Eater, but Steven, I don't actually want to get like, this is the Crown of the Fire Eater. I want to get like a special order amulet that or like a crown, whatever, that resonates with Hap's like internal elemental, and it just awakens the natural fire eater inside. You know, same gold, same stats. I want it to come from within her rather than from this little crown. And I'm also ordering the Coin of Comfort, which this one I'm going to go out on a limb with, and you can tell me no, it can't work like that. What I want to do is Coin of Comfort's 45 gold pieces. I want to spend $45 ordering something, or 45 GP, ordering something really nice for my dad. Just a nice present to say,
nice.
I love you, and I'm still thinking about you, and I'm just so happy to have you in my life. And then I want to use my Necklace of Fireballs, which I will literally never cast a spell from because I don't want to run out of the gems. I want to rub the gem and remember him, and have like that be my little Coin of Comfort.
That's nice.
Okay. You gotta make it complex. I'm just putting down regular items.
You can put down regular, but
you
just
flavor
for the
it
flavor
whatever
of it,
you
yeah.
want. You flavor it however you want. You have a Coin of Comfort. You'll get some thingamabog that does something, and sure. I whatever. You can order from Absalom. I guess they'll have these things in stock. I mean, there is a shipping crisis right now, so I don't know if you're going to get it in
so
time,
true.
But,
I didn't even notice that the Coin of Comfort's uncommon also. Yeah.
Everything
So I'll get an
in the Grand
uncommon
Bazaar
present
is
for
uncomfort,
Dad.
pretty much. Almost
Well,
everything
hey, you guys.
in that book.
So in
So
character,
uncommon.
I need you to help me pick out a really nice present for Dad. It needs to be 45 gold pieces.
I got a budget.
I thought about, what about like a really nice walking stick with maybe like really rare metals, Like this walking stick's made out of meteorite.
Sounds good. That's what you
Okay. All right.
Ooh. Yeah.
Sounds heavy, but
I found
It's
this
so
meteorite
heavy, I can't lift
sword.
it.
Yeah, we could say we found a meteorite sword that maybe like a fighter from the far south lost in a long time ago war, and we'll turn it into a walking stick. That's a Avatar reference.
it is.
Yes.
All right. My turn?
Yes.
All right. So Otteron is continuing their witchy studies and has learned a fair bit more on the spirits, to the point that they can now call on the spirits of the dead, the wrong dead, to attack people in an area. That's the new spell, Invoke Spirits. They also learned Shadow Blast, which allows you to call on shadow energy to do all different sorts of energy damage, which could be really useful. Say you needed sonic energy to fight, an alchemical golem. Otteron also is learning more about life and death from Nocticula, and now has the lesson of death, being able to actually curse people to die. And they know that soon they'll be able to actually raise the dead, but they can't cast it yet because it's 6 circle. On top of that, they gain the ability to call people out with some witty words with Bon Mot, and maybe, disarm them a bit. That was their skill feat. And finally, probably most interesting is they're 20 intelligence now and trained in every skill.
What?
They're, trained in every skill. I did increase charisma, increased wisdom as well. They're learning more about the world as they interact, especially with their friends, and travel around. But they know a little bit of everything now, and it's making it a bit easier to interact with the world. They're using some of that knowledge to plan out all the different spells that they need. They're buying numerous scrolls, basically just to feed Chilagosh, because that's how Chilagosh learns spells in order to help Otteron. So let's see, how many scrolls? 11 scrolls. Chilagosh is eating well. And that includes another powerful spell from Secrets of Magic called Rip the Spirit. That will be somewhat devastating, but a lot of spells to help buff and boost the party. We'll see those, I'm sure, over time. Probably the most interesting that I'm excited to cast is Heroism. With the downtime we have ahead, Atron's going to be crafting pretty much the whole time. And why I needed to hear from Lauren about Hap's expenditures is because Atron's planning to craft antidotes, moderate healing potions, potions of fly, and even some good oils, because it's bound to be necessary to fight some dangerous evil things. We'll need those good oils to overcome some of that damage resistance.
And frying.
Yes, definitely.
You need to lubricate the pan before you fry.
Oh, yeah. Atron does now know the restyle spell. So if anyone wants to change their clothing's color, boom, first level spell, permanent change. You know,
That's really cool.
You can transmog everyone.
Mhm.
That's right. We can look like that rare gear that doesn't have good stats anymore.
Everyone's getting their glam on. That sounds like new artwork is what it sounds like to me.
I love it. Everyone wants red clothing now, except for Alhara maybe wants it changed. Well, I guess we'll see how she's feeling about everything.
I was actually thinking about just switching to regular, like, Explorer's armor, because it's got a higher max dex bonus. And even though it would stay the same, I wouldn't be in clunky red armor anymore. But I'm not sure.
But it's your mom's armor.
Yeah, but she is an evil person, and I don't
it's
know.
not
I
sounding
have
so
mixed,
great, is it?
I have mixed feelings about that at this point.
But she's still your mom.
Misunderstood.
I don't care what her maiden name was. Now she's, Mrs. Understood, whatever. But, like, I don't know, her being a legendary assassin or something and just right out murdering people is a little concerning.
If I found out that my
I'd say so.
mother, I've known my whole life, was a legendary assassin, I'd be like, Mom, this is wicked cool. How come you didn't tell me about this?
I'd be like, Mom, teach me everything you know. With that being said,
I
Alhara,
would be like, teach me
how
everything
many
you know.
how many sentient creatures have you killed since the beginning of this campaign? Just curious.
Only the ones who are trying to kill us.
Rough ballpark. Just curious. What do you
Only
think?
the ones that were trying to kill us.
Okay. I'm just making sure. So,
Uh-huh.
Eye of the Beholder. That's what I'm hearing. Eye of the Beholder. Shoe on the Other Foot. Kettle Black.
say.
There's a lot of things come to mind right now.
If
That's
my
all I'm
mother-
It's
saying.
not
in
like
real-
we're getting contracts to go hunt people down in the name of a god
That's right.
of red mantises.
No, you're getting contracts from a dead god to save the world. Maybe. Who knows?
It's not like you have to hang around with an avatar of the red mantis. Jeez, like, come on.
Oh, I know. Who is slowly turning into a mantis, and soon will be, by level 20, just an absolute dead ringer for Ekachek on the planet, on the face of Galarian.
That's not what
What
I want.
don't understand is why Alhara's father is still alive, because don't usually the female mantises kill the mate?
Yum, yum, yum.
I don't think it's true with every
that's
species,
true.
but it's true with most. Yeah.
And I think it's with all mantises.
Hey, Darius, I'm ordering something from Absalon. Do you want me to get you some mandible wax while I'm at it?
Yes, I need mandible wax. Also, it's a big bucket of flies.
Yeah, can do. We can
Ew.
get you some giant flies.
Yeah, the biggest flies you can find.
Yum, yum, yum. I don't think mantises eat flies. I
Eat whatever
think
they
they-
catch.
Atron's going to teach you of all the different kinds of bacon you can try.
I think they eat their mates. I think it might be time for you to go visit
No.
a cat and have
not
a
how that
snack.
Wow.
Not how that goes.
Well, you
I have
could.
this new magical bacon. It looks like lettuce, but it tastes like bacon.
That's
So
fine.
Eat that.
If
yeah.
it tastes like it, I'll eat lettuce.
Great.
Or you can make it taste like flies.
No.
I can make flies taste like bacon.
That's right. You can make flies taste like bacon.
Honestly, I think if we had an analog for eating like really big insects, because in Galarian they have the giant flies. I feel like you could fry their carapace and make chips out of their chitin, little chitin chips.
The rest of the world eats insects. I think it's like the number one source of protein.
Atron is a vegetarian, and now they are really a vegetarian.
Yeah, but it's not the number one source of enjoyed protein.
How do you know? I think the rest of the world enjoys it. It's supposed to be quite yummy and tasty and crunchy.
I know because I've been there, and it's a thing. Yeah, I have an experience with that.
And you loved eating them all the time. Yum, 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 yum.
I
yum.
threw up and embarrassed our party because it was
Aw.
so disrespectful.
Oh,
Well, you're just a a rude American.
That's true.
Anyhow, back in the world of Galarian. So, you bought... I don't know, what are you buying? You guys have tons of stuff. I don't even know what you bought because you did that off screen, even I wasn't here.
Yeah, I can tell you Acheron is not buying anything for themselves. They're only, well, I mean, they're buying
Aw.
scrolls, but nothing
Wow.
to like, they're not buying
They're so
anything
selfless.
to wear.
I'm not
or
buying anything for myself except 11 scrolls.
I meant like equipment to wear. It's all, most of it's even spells.
Do you
to help
even
the
need
party.
equipment? Acheron doesn't even wear clothes anymore.
Hey, they
just
have enchanted
wander around.
robes.
Oh, okay. You don't need
Oh
them,
my goodness.
though.
If they
I
have
mean,
illusionary clothing, I swear I'm going to retire and not be an adventurer anymore.
The thing is, would it affect your AC if you walked around naked?
Yes.
It would?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
I-
There's runes on those
My
clothes.
my armor's my robes are enchanted.
Tattoos of enchantment.
Oh, no.
Get you some tattoos that give you some runic tattoos.
I have a +1 armor potency and a resilience rune on my robes.
Hey, man,
I think
you
not
can
wearing
put
boots would make
those-
everything difficult terrain unless you're
Yeah,
like a
that's
halfling.
Yes.
Acheron grew up with really messed up druids in a dark forest, so I presume a lot of them did not wear shoes.
I imagine all those
Shoes.
druids are nice people and you're just judgmental.
Oh,
No.
all right. Yeah,
Anyhow,
we're gonna do a one shot where we go to the Uskwood, and everyone will be like, "Acheron, now we understand. We understand."
so all right. So what did you get? What did everyone get? What did people get? Go, Riley. What did you get, Riley?
Riley got some pats on the head. He's a good boy.
Good boy and still alive, barely. Darius, what did you get?
I have armbands of athleticism and a lifting belt. The armbands give me a bonus to my athletics of +2, and I believe when I do a climb check or swim check, it gives me an extra like 5 feet of movement.
Correct.
Then the lifting belt would give me an athletics boost, but it doesn't stack. But it lets me manipulate an item of 8 bulk or less as if it weighed nothing, right? And I think I can activate the power for like a turn, and do this, do that weightlessness for something that I need to force open or
Yeah.
something.
Yep. You become Hercules for like a minute.
That's so cool.
What did Alhara get?
I only bought one item, and that is armbands of athleticism.
Cheater.
Hey, look, same
Cheater.
hat.
Cheater. You're like, so Darius good. After he left, he was like, can I have one of those too? I think it's a good idea.
We're matchy-matchy.
There you go, brother and sister. Now your athletic twins activate. But the best thing is that does not affect your assurance, does it?
It does not affect assurance. Only the proficiency bonus affects assurance.
Aww.
I
What
bought
is
some-
your
Oh,
what is your assurance now? Is it 25 or 26?
oh goodness. It should be 26.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming well, if your athletics is 22 and you automatically get a 26.
Yep.
Ooh, that assurance is not paying off.
It's good because it ignores penalties. What it's really good for is that third attack. I don't want to take a -10, because here's the thing: if I took a -10 on that third attack, my average roll would be, 22. So it's not great. But if I can just guarantee a 26, that's not bad. Especially for if I know that a creature has like really low reflex DC or really low fortitude DC, I can really mess him up with some combat maneuvers using that assurance, and I don't have to roll for it. But the +22 bonus is fantastic when I really need something to succeed.
Yeah, I'm just curious. It's just interesting because everyone thinks assurance is broken, and even I'm starting to see, well, it starts off a little broken, but slowly but surely.
Well, I think there are certain levels where it becomes more potent because it goes off of your proficiency bonus. Any level, and like maybe 1 or 2 after, where you can get a higher proficiency in whatever the skill is, that's when it really kicks in.
Yeah. Or when you go up to master, then it's gonna.
But that's what I mean.
know.
It's like
Yeah. we'll
trained,
see.
it's meh, and then as soon as you get to be an expert, it's really good, and then it starts to get meh again until you can get master, and then it's really good again. And so it kind of keeps bouncing back and forth like
Yo-yos,
that. But
yeah.
really, it's best for that third action attack where you have a huge penalty, and you know the ogre has a terrible reflex save, and you're just like, and on your butt. Like, that's what we did to that clay golem, right? We just kept knocking it down with assurance, because even though it was big and strong and powerful, it was slow as heck, and so it was really easy to just keep knocking it down.
And then Hap, we know, got a coin and some thingamabog that makes her fireproof or something.
Well,
Who
I
knows?
should also mention this other stuff, because I bought some really weird stuff, too.
What?
like-
What?
Weird where it's going to be like, that's really creative, and you're going to be frustrated with me for when I use smoke sticks, because I can see through smoke sticks and others can't. So it's like, if I'm in trouble, let me just pop smoke.
We're gonna die.
And then just keep going.
Yep.
Yeah. So I brought 5 of those. I bought a greater smoke stick.
At like level 10, everything has
Has what?
vision path. The dark vision's gone.
Dark
Even greater
vision
dark
isn't-
vision.
doesn't
They all
beat
have
smoke stick.
senses. They all have life sense. They all have all these things that totally don't rely on vision. But cool.
Well, I'm glad
Sounds-
you're not worried about it. Let's
Oh, I'm not. I'm
see
totally.
if
actually
one of
not
us eats our words. And then the last thing I got,
Don't
which I do
worry,
have to
not
mention,
worried.
is I'm matching Darius. We're twinsies now. I got hand wraps of mighty blows.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when I go all fire elemental and I go punch people with fire, I got hand wraps of mighty blows, and they're striking too.
Okay. What did Otteron get other than 11 scrolls?
Yeah, Atron bought 11 scrolls to feed to Chilagosh, because Chilagosh is a growing, familiar. Learned 2 new formula for moderate antidotes and moderate anti-plagues. And that's it. Otherwise, they spent all their time crafting.
So how much time do you need in this area before you can mosey on over?
Well, in this area,
Hap needed 3 weeks.
yeah, but we can arrive at the next place like 3 weeks later, right?
Well, I mean, it won't take you that long. I mean, Carrick's only a day away, and then Carrick to Caston Lee is only 16 miles, so it's not exactly like...
Oh, I see.
5
So
months
we
late.
kind of stay
Yeah.
here for that time. I see.
Well, you can go to Carrick. I mean, that's kind of the bigger place. Or
Yeah,
It's whatever you decide.
that's where we get free room and board.
Oh,
It's up to you.
never mind. That's next level. Next level, I get free room and board everywhere.
Oh, I know. From the skill feed, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's the general.
All
food?
right.
Oh, maybe.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, let me know when you're ready to move on and start playing.
Yeah, let's push fast forward on on getting secrets of magic spells, and then start playing.
3 weeks later.
Hang out with the
Alright.
pug people.
Well, you're gonna hang out with that's the pug people. They're in Fernie, so they're in a different place, and you can hang out with them there. You can go to Madcleve. You can go revisit old Kuru's place if you want, since you ran out of there so quick. You go back to Carrick, hang out there if room and board, and do any if you want to investigate more or not, or just call it a day and just fast forward and go to the Hollows and Castonley, which is probably next 8 places to go. You tell me.
I think we wanted to go to Fernie at some point after the Wellspring Tower since we hadn't gone yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had a party with them. Remember, it was Ewok style.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
partied
cool.
with them.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
puppy
you
party.
guys did. You had a big party.
But-
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there wasn't there like a festival that we were going to do our circus at?
That is at the later
That's
place.
in Turbin Road.
Yes.
Turpin Row. Yeah, when
Turpin
is that
Row.
happening? Is that within those 3 weeks?
That is exactly. We'll say it's 4 weeks from now,
Oh,
or
okay.
4.5 weeks that it starts.
Word.
There you
Sure.
go.
How fortuitous.
Oh, yes,
I love it.
it's right after you. Well, because if you look on the map, you go from Carrick to Castonley is 16 miles, and then Castonley to Turpin Rove is 16 miles too. So it's like there's no point in not going in that order. I mean, there's these other places you can go to, like Arbo and Stump and Brune and Chausax. But
Well,
yeah,
It looks like we're going to stop in this spooky place called the Hollows.
By the way, Life
Mm.
Root Stone, which is the next tower, is also right next to Castonley.
Convenient, I think so.
Yes, so if you want to go in that order, And then the old forest tower is all the way to the east near Turpin Road.
Before we leave Carrick, after these few weeks of learning and training and shopping, Otteron gives Darius 2 moderate healing potions and gives 2 moderate healing potions to Alhara.
Ooh, thank you.
And then we'll give each of them also 2 moderate antidotes.
Oh, thank you.
So Darius now has 3 moderate antidotes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the stuff I've crafted, Otteron is holding on to for now. But over the course of those 3 weeks would have described, hey, I'll have extra antidotes ready. I'll have some more potions, just a couple for healing. And everyone would know that Otteron has some fly potions and some oils that imbue good energy for helping fight demons and other dangerous things from beyond this world.
You got it. You are beyond the world. All right. Do you hang out in Vandy's house? Opera Vandy? During this
Yes, definitely.
time?
That's where the ghost
Oh,
is.
no.
The ghost.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And now I can call on the spirits to help me fight this ghost imposter.
You know nothing.
We actually do know nothing. That's true.
That's good. That's good. During this time in Carrick, you learn a little bit more about this place. And sure enough, during your 3-week sabbatical, because adventuring is hard work and everyone needs a vacation. So this is your vacation from yourselves. No circus. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the sights. No food places. No bars. Nothing. Just contemplation.
Contemplating the secrets of magic.
That's right. Contemplating the secrets of magic. And going through the catalog for things to get from the bazaar.
Otteron is non-stop working in their cauldron, making alchemy and potions, literally from the very first day to the very end.
Alhara is working out, winning bar bets left and right.
Well, also using these newfound aquatic powers, she spends a decent amount of time diving into the harbor around Carrick and just sort of exploring sea caves and swimming up the river that's right there. The the Husna River. Just exploring underwater where she couldn't go before.
What does Darius do, Darius?
I mean, if it's just relaxing, he's just taking his day very easily. Getting up, doing his regular exercises and, things like that. And if he's just in town, just talking to people and being a friendly, helpful guy.
Darius, do you want to go sit on the beach with me? I'll make you a lawn chair. Comfiest one you've ever seen.
Oh, yes, of course.
Nice.
Okay. During your time there, you hear rumors. You actually hear rumors that things are looking better in the Swarth. That's what they call it here. Now that you're becoming, one with the area, no one calls it Swardlands. That's way too, cumbersome. It's called the Sward. Hey, Sward. Yeah, Sward. So anyhow, the Sward is starting to do a little bit better because someone fixed the Wellspring Tower, and that area is starting to come back to life. Now, the south is still a total mess, but the people of Fernie and Maddencleave, they're pretty happy. And your patron, he Mr. Vandy, he's really happy because suddenly his life has gotten a little bit easier. So he's really happy. And while you're there, you also find out a little bit about new places you need to go, which is Castonlee. And this place, you find out a few things. First of all, you find out that Castonlee is the apple capital of the Inner Sea. That's right. Nobody grows an apple like the Castonlee Crisp. I just hope that the blight over Maddencleave doesn't make it this far. The orchards are already producing less in Castonlee from what you hear. So, yeah, they were worried that blight was going to spread all the way down to the south. You also hear about this trail that you need to take that goes through an area called the Hollows. You hear that the Hollows is a cemetery on a hillock, in a lowland area at the foot of the Solwyn Hills, and the main road goes right by there. In fact, the Hollows used to be a pretty bustling area, and at one time, a pretty big town was there, but the area was very difficult to farm, so they picked up and moved down to Casterly. But there's still actually a lot of tombs there and a lot of people buried there, so they still kind of use it as a burial site. You also hear that there's been a lot less burying in the Hallows, since most of the funeral duties went over to Vandy in Carrick. But you hear that there's one very prominent Shuni gravedigger who handles all the burials in the Hollows. And they say he sings to the dead, and the spirits answer him. He's very well liked. You also find out a little bit about the Life-Rood Stone Tower, which is nearby. You hear that it's an old ruined tower, like the others they call towers throughout the Sward. However, this one, it's in really bad shape. An old foot trail from the Hollows follows the base of the hills all the way to the Life-Root Stone. But you hear of all the towers, this one's in really, really bad shape and almost completely gone. And last but not least, Castelline information you find out is that would-be conquerors of Absalon took up in the old days to plan their attack in the city in Castelly. It said they created statues from stone and clay to smash the city's walls. Of course, it went about it as well as it did with the rest of them over in the Carnlands, and now the tower's upper half is completely rubble, and most of the statues too. You've heard that there's a lot of weird statues in the area near Castelly, you know. Some supposedly walk around. I wouldn't worry about that so much, you know. It's from the old days when people were attacking Absalon and just, you know, making living statues as their brute force army. So don't worry about that. And yeah, that's it. So the Hollows is on the way. Castelly, you find out also, is the most prominent farming center in the Swardlands next to Madencleve. There's a population of a little bit over 2,000 people. Overseen by the mayor, Juplin Craigs, is a gnome. He's a cabbage farmer who was elected mayor. And there is a huge crop of apples, peaches, and pecans in Castelly. That is where most of the crop comes from for this area.
Did we get the singing gravedigger Shuni's name, and is it KK Slider by chance?
You can ask around. It's actually quite easy to find out the name because he's quite famous. His name is Boralu.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we gotta go recruit him.
I'm guessing that'll be an opportunity.
I don't know. Boralu, like Babalu.
Ooh.
Boralu, Babalu. Yeah, he's a singer. A Shuni singer who sings to the spirits. Everyone loves that.
I love it.
And let's see, what do you find out about the Hollows? I'll give you a little bit of information.
Oh, we'll get the music trait from him. I need the music trait.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, music trait? You don't know how to sing? You know, you can take some lessons while you're waiting around.
Oh my goodness. I'm a master in performance. Thank you very much.
There you go. Here we go. Less than 4 miles north of Castelly is the Castelly Hollows Burial Ground, also just known as the Hollows. And as I said before, it's kind of a marshy, boggy area, and it originally was a settlement, but it's been really hard for people to live there. They tried to drain it, and it just didn't work out well. So they moved down to Castelly, about 4 miles south, but they still had a lot of people dead there. Oh, yeah, because there's some, you know, it's still kind of like a marshland and a little bit, you know, miry. Every so often they come across mummified bodies, you know, preserved in the water that come back. Don't worry about that. That's just, you know, it's just something that happens.
That's good history. What are you talking about? They belong in a museum.
Okay, sure.
Uh-oh.
By the way,
Oh no.
that's a real life thing that happens because the bodies get really well preserved in bogs and then they sink down to the bottom. But then over time, and it could be literally years, if not decades later, they will eventually come up to the surface.
It can be centuries later, even.
Yeah, right. And then people think that's why they think they're haunted, because this actually happens like all the time in real life. So anyhow, so you hear good things. People are talking. Things are getting a little bit better. Is everyone ready to just about ready to go?
Yeah, I think so.
I say we're ready to go.
Let's do it.
Cool. Everyone give me a will save except Ataran.
Oh no.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Did anyone hear me earlier?
No.
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 My gosh, I started the adventure with a 2. I rolled a 2.
Darius, 19 for
38.
38. You're fine. Hap, 24. Oh, Alhara, what did you roll? A 2.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to keep that?
You're just trying to leach my hero point from me.
Yeah, but it's so
I'm
easy
just
to
asking
do.
if you're going to keep it. You tell me.
Well,
I don't care either
you
way.
tell me
tell
if it was a failure or a critical failure.
18. That's
Is
a
this
critical
about
failure.
is this about sleeping with Opera Vandy? Because I definitely don't want to do that.
No, that was just, you're just sleeping. You're just going to sleep and waking up. Or trying to wake up.
Oh.
Trying to wake up. So-
Sure, what the heck. Yeah, I don't want a critical fail, a will save. That sounds like bad news. 26 total.
So you all go to sleep. You all wake up. Atron wakes up. No problem whatsoever. Another day, another dollar. Darius wakes up. Darius, fine. A little, restless, but he's used to it by now. He's being visited by gods and demons and assassins.
Well,
What's
not
another-
lately.
Well, yeah, but you're used to it. Not
Well,
lately.
Wait.
actually.
I haven't had a dream or a vision from Achakek since.
No, you haven't, which
Since
is also but
yeah.
that's also concerning in a way. So,
Yes. I mean, I'm concerned, but he hasn't visited me.
No,
Even
but-
Mantis assassins take a break.
Yeah. You just
Right.
you had some disturbing dreams. Alhara rolls a 28. Pretty good, Alhara.
Cool.
Hap rolls a 24. Alhara, you have a nightmare.
What? With a 28?
Oh yeah.
We're level 10 now. Everything's a 30.
Uh-huh. I rolled a 10, so this is my average roll on a will save. And if it fails by more than 2, that's what really stinks.
All right. Hap and Alhara both wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares. Terrible, terrible nightmare. Alhara,
Yeah.
you dreamt of a black horse with glowing eyes and hoofs of flame, and it was chasing you.
Oh my gosh.
And you tried to get away. You tried to dodge. You tried to use all the athletics you had. Jump out of the way. Dodge. Roll. Kick. Didn't matter. This monstrous horse was chasing you. And just as it was about to run you down, you woke up.
Feel like I've run a mile. Or 10. I better go run a mile or 10. That'll shake it off.
Hap also has a horrible nightmare. She has a nightmare of, instead of seeing Bardoff, and she is at the camp and she's trying to save Bardoff, as you see the trailer he was in going up in flames.
No.
And you hear the screams of Bardoff, and you're trying hard as you can to open up the door, but you can't open up the door, and your hands are getting burned, even though you know you should be immune to fire, and you're doing everything in your power. And then when you finally open up the door, just flames, and you see Bardoff consumed, and then you wake up. You are also fatigued. Anyhow, time to go to the Hallows and Casterly.
I don't know. I think we just go to bed another night. I mean, come on.
You can do that.
Doesn't one of the restorations take care of fatigue?
Beats me.
Possibly.
Make a look at the heightened version, because I know that the normal version doesn't, but it used to, which is why I'm thinking.
What? Reduce a condition such as clumsy, enfeebled, or stupefied. Lessen a toxin. Yeah. Nothing about being tired anymore. For any level of it looks like.
Yeah, at 4th you get doomed. Cool! I love this.
You can go to sleep again. Whatever you want. You guys can just say, you know what, I'm not up for it today. Let's have another day off. Let's take another me day.
What's confusing me is that you didn't hear what I said? Alright, everybody else make a will save. Like, what on earth did we miss? I've been sitting here listening to everything.
Anyhow, you tell me. Darius feels fine. I mean, he was a little...
Yeah, I feel great.
Atron feels great.
Atron feels fantastic.
Super
Now,
great.
let's just get a cart, and I'll just sleep on the way there. We can afford it. Let's just... What?
Did you have a bad night, Hap?
You need a full night's rest.
Yeah, but I mean...
So tired.
Look, it's 16 miles away, right?
The Hallows is 12 miles.
12 miles away? Yeah, I get
Time to head south. Yes.
Let's just take our time. I'll sleep through lunch, and we'll get a good 8 hours, right?
Well, probably a good hour or two.
What? How fast do you think people walk?
Put it this way, it's a full night's rest. It's up to you. You can try to do the sleep if you want. I'm not going to say no.
I'm going to try to sleep. And
okay.
If it's not enough, then that's fine. But I'm tired, and I don't want to wake up, and I'm going to spend the money on a cart.
You got it. All right. So...
you could sleep on one of the circus carts, couldn't you?
Yeah, you just bring the whole circus with you and go down to...
Are we bringing the whole circus with us?
Probably. I mean, that's kind of what you wanted to do.
Well, then I'll sleep in my cart.
All right, even better. So you guys all go down. On the big map. Everyone's going down.
Look at that.
Does anyone sleep except Hap?
Yeah, Alhara will take a nap back there too.
Cool. Good job. Alhara and Hap, give me will saves.
Uh-oh.
Okay. This is what I thought. Well, 27 still isn't going to do it. I rolled an 8 this time. My goodness.
I don't know if the root magic is back yet, if the other one was considered yesterday or today, but...
Yeah, well, you would have gotten a new one before we left, so technically, yes.
Okay, well then 33.
Okay. You go down the path. You take some naps. Full night's rest. Guess you're going to be up all night now. Good news is Alhara wakes up. You had a dream, but you can't remember it, though. You're no longer fatigued.
Oh, okay.
Hap, you had the same dream.
I probably had trouble sleeping, yeah.
Yep, you couldn't sleep. No, you slept.
Oh.
You just kept having nightmares.
That wakes you up all night, trust me. From somebody who's kept up all night by nightmares, trust me.
Not
Anyhow.
These ones.
There you go. So, as you're heading on down there, you get to the Hollows.
Woo!
An isolated stretch of woodland.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Do you go through it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It's actually very easy to do. Let's just move you.
Oh.
All right, it's kind of dark. It's like pretty dark now, sort of, or getting dark. The road passes through a swampy lowland between the hills and the plains here. It's muddied and furrowed from years of traffic on its soft surface, and standing water forms puddles in the ruts. Willows grow purposefully in this area, and between them, the stony outcrops of the rising hills to the north and the west. There's a shadowy, close quality to the air, unlike the bright, open feel of the rest of the Swartlands. It is as if you've taken a step away from the sunlit fields and villages into a darker, more remote land altogether. The road parallels an iron fence along the north side, where the ground rises to a large hillock covered in willows. Spread out in the gloom beneath these trees are limestone and marble tombstones. An open gate to the fence bears an elaborate wrought iron arch, bearing the words Castelli Hollow's Burying Ground. The track branches off and climbs the hill among the trees. A mournful song comes from that direction. And sure enough, as you get closer to the cart, you can hear off in the distance someone singing.
Oh, please let me have this one, guys. I want to cast a spell.
Fireball.
I'm going to summon a flaming violin, and I want to
What?
play along with the mournful song. I want to accompany it with music.
Oh.
Ooh, I love it.
42, which is probably a little
Whoa.
bit higher because I have
What?
items, and then
Ooh.
and then fatigue.
It's a 19 on the die.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So you start to play, and as you play, suddenly the person who was singing stops singing, and they say, "Who's there?"
Hey, don't stop singing. We had a good thing going on.
Oh, I show yourselves. I don't know who that is. You scared me.
We're
Interrupted
right here.
my
We're
song.
at the gate.
Okay, well, you hear it the song is like 200 feet away, at least to the northwest. It's quite far.
Oh, okay.
We will come up. Do not be afraid. Ataran will kind of like follow after the others.
Yeah, Alhara will lead the way, looking around, trying to find the source of this music.
Well, you see a Shuni,
Oh.
and they are working on a grave. And it looks like a Shuni working on digging a grave on the gentle slope of the hill. As you see him sing and hear him sing, you hear a crooning of a melancholy song that's both haunting and heart-wrenching. And as he's singing, you see hundreds of fireflies surround him and dance in sync with him singing.
Ooh.
Okay, I do that too, because that's literally what I do.
Do what? You're a firefly?
Yeah, remember all my embers, my magical embers floating around me? It's only been a thing since day one.
Okay, well, these are real fireflies, not fake embers. So anyhow,
his are fake embers, not real embers like mine.
as the fireflies gather around the Shuni, and they dance gracefully in time with his song. And he continues his work here. And he seems to be at ease with you coming into the graveyard. Seems like people visiting is pretty normal because this is a burial ground. And he's just working.
Ataran will say quietly, "This is probably Borolu, the Shuni grave singer we heard of."
And he seems to have finished his digging after a few moments. And he puts his shovel down, he stops singing, and as soon as he stops singing, all the fireflies just disappear. They just fly away real quick. And he looks at you and he's like, nice to meet you all. Oh, I didn't know that didn't expect anyone to come. I'm expecting a delivery in a moment now. Are you here to visit somebody? Pay respects?
No, we are traveling south to Castley.
Okay. Sure enough, yeah, I'm going to Castley all the time. Well, that's where I live. So, pleased to meet you. I'm Burlew. Some people call me Burlew the Dead Singer, because, I sing to the dead. I'm the local grave digger and mortician in this area, and I manage this graveyard here.
It is good to meet you. We have heard of you.
Oh, nice to meet you too. And who might you all be? It looks like you have quite a caravan there. Are you that circus we've heard about?
Ataran is just nodding.
Oh, okay.
Darius, go on
it's
forward.
Good to hear. We actually need some entertainment around here. I mean, I provide my own entertainment to myself, but I think people can use some entertainment, something to look forward to, something to keep everyone's spirits up. I mean, I do what I can, but with my singing and try to make something that happens in life that's usually hard a little bit easier for everybody.
Well, I am Ataran, and this is Hap, and Riley, and Aha, and Dias. We are...
And I'm Darius.
We are part of the circus, yes. Although we are somewhat more involved with looking into problems from Upper Vandy and investigating some of the towers because of Zolgath attacks. But we are happy to be giving something back to the people as we travel.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing to hear. As he says that, you hear, coming from the south, a creak of axles and the light of a lantern coming up the road. And he says, this is the delivery I was expecting. Don't be alarmed. Sure enough, you see a human male riding a horse with a cart. And on the cart, you see a plain, single pine coffin. He says, Don't take offense. This is Cleve. He was just, delivering me this poor soul from Castanley, and we need to bury her tonight.
Ataran looks to the others. That is no problem. Do you need assistance?
We got this magic shovel.
Oh, well, if you wish, I have everything ready here. This is my job. And then Cleve just sort of nods and looks at you, and sure enough, you see a mid-aged male human. And he gets off, and Boralu and Cleve quickly go to the back and respectfully take the coffin, and they open it up a little just to make sure that everything is correct, that they're not burying the wrong person.
Yeah.
And they look in there, and you see a young girl, and they just look at each other and shake their heads and say, "Oh, sad. This is Anaya. She's a local teenage girl. She had no family. So, unfortunately, there's no one here to mourn her except us."
Do you know how she passed?
Yes. Clive looks over and talks to her and says, "Yeah, she was a little bit rough around the edges. What I understood is that she ran around the sward with a group of young delinquents, mostly stealing chickens, knocking over outhouses, that sort of thing. But she was in good health. I mean, she was young. She couldn't have been more than 16 or so. She was found dead in her hovel this morning without a mark on her. She just passed away in her sleep."
Darius, can you check her over? I wonder if she died like the other people.
Yeah, I'll do it. See if may I? We've had other people die mysteriously without a mark that we've been told about.
Okay, sure.
And I'll do the check and see what we can find out. 35.
You look around, and she looks kind of haggard and hollow-eyed. It looks like she died of fright, if there's such a thing.
She died of fright like the other.
Clive hears that, and he goes, "That's strange, because the neighbor said that she's been complaining about horrible nightmares the last few days, and she's been screaming and waking up with these terrible nightmares, and she complained about seeing some little girl in her dreams."
Yes.
There is some sort of entity that is haunting people's dreams. It is something Upper Vandy has asked us to look into, but we have not been able to solve yet. It seems it has moved on to Casterly then.
No. It's happened a few times down here. I've heard rumors that a couple of people have died throughout the sward, most of them up north, but we've had a few over here, and Morlu looks at it and says, yeah, we, couple, not a lot. They're all in pretty good health, and man, they weren't the nicest people. They weren't the best of people, but yeah, they all just died suddenly. It's kind of odd. But now you mention it, they did look like they were kind of scared, or they looked like they didn't have any sleep for several days. It looks very similar to her now I think about it. Sort of that hollowed look,
What?
dark eyes, like they haven't been getting much sleep.
It is the entity. It comes at night.
I was just remembering something bad is all.
What?
I was thinking of Bardolph. That's why I couldn't sleep.
You had a nightmare.
Well, yeah, but that's not uncommon after what we've seen.
It's also dangerous to have those here.
Clearly.
Well, if you want to help, we're gonna bury her, say some last respects, and then cover her up. It's the least we can do. Anyone from the town of Castlelea, whether or not they have family, gets buried here. It's part of being in our community.
That is good to do.
And with that, they slowly close up the coffin and put her into the ground. Cleve and Borlu say a few words. Seems like they've done this many, many times. And they ask if you have anything to say, or if anyone would like to say anything.
What was her name?
Elia?
Elia, we'll figure out what did this to you, and we're going to put a stop to it. I promise that.
Okay. And with that, they bow their heads and start putting the dirt back over her. And now it's kind of dark. And
How long does it seem like that will take?
10 minutes at most.
Great. I would like to use something if I can.
Okay.
I think Ataran pulls out a dark candle and sets it on the ground in front of them and lights it and starts whispering some chanting words to call on the spirits. And I want to use my consult the spirits.
Ooh.
How long does that take?
10 minutes.
While you're consulting the spirits, in the middle of your spell, about 5 minutes in, you hear a voice coming from the trees, and you see a light way to the northeast. And you hear, "Hello? Hello? Hello?"
Do we all hear it or just Atron?
Everyone hears it.
That's odd.
Alhara's going to go investigate.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
And I'll ask the gravedigger, are you expecting more visitors?
Oh, there's visitors all time of day. The graveyard's never really closed. Sometimes people do get lost. It's quite large and a little boggy here, so... Hello? Hello?
Hello? I'm shouting back.
Hello? Stop.
Alhara's going to be sneaking around
Hello?
using stuff for cover, trying to approach the sound.
Okay. As you sneak around and you hear this voice, you see, hiding behind the bushes, the weirdest sight you've probably ever seen.
Uh-oh.
You see this lean, hairy humanoid with a lanky torso, a horned head, bulbous black eyes, and there's light coming from him because one of his hands is made of candlesticks and has the wicks are on fire.
Lumiere? Is that you?
What?
And as Alhara and it see each other, you're both like,
Roll for combat!
What?
You've been listening to Roll for Combat 3-Ring Adventure, a Pathfinder actual play podcast. If you have a question or comment for the show, please visit us at rollforcombat.com. You can also find us and play various games on our Discord channel at discord.rollforcombat.com. You've been listening to Roll for Combat. Until next week, always remember that the producers of Roll for Combat are not responsible for any listeners who begin attending satanic cult meetings after being exposed to role-playing.